What's up, Wise Take? It's Thursday night. It's that time again for That's Right, the two Guidos. That's right. Patio Joe is back sporting his NWO for life shirt. That's right. Patio Joe's back from the 1 week hiatus. I had some work to deal with, but I'm back here to talk week 11 with my boy, my fellow Guido, Paulie D. Follow him on Twitter at Paulie8Ds. What's going on, Paulie? How you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Doing very, very good. What a awesome little slate we got here for this weekend. Football's starting to get kind of good, like we got the data, we got sample sizes, we got, certain injuries, trades, people getting cut, like value opening up, and the picture's starting to get a little clearer, I feel. We've been doing pretty well in NFL the last few weeks, and hopefully we keep that train rolling.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. This week is we got one really main game everybody's gonna flock to, but then we got some other games where you're gonna want bits and pieces of. There might be a few you're just not gonna want to see you buy, just not gonna worry about. But everyone I'm looking at, I might want a little bit of. So what we're gonna do tonight, guys? Of course, we're gonna have the prices right. I know you guys want that. You guys are literally, I know you're asking for it right now. D. Millie is wondering when is going to be the price right. That's a little bit later. Let that percolate just a little bit. What we're going to do tonight, since there's only two games, really, Philly, New Orleans, maybe Tampa for the Giants. We're going to go position by position a little bit. We're going to go the high, the mid, the low. Then we're going to go position by, and maybe we would say what right now, what maybe would be your core to start off with. Maybe we'll do a quarterback, a running back, a receiver, and a tight end, just what's going to be your core four. That's what we'll do, and then we'll have a little prices right, and then we'll get on out of here. If you have any questions in the YouTube chat, let us know now. Loving it. I'm psyched up this weekend because I'm going to the Survivor Series at Staples Center. I'm going to see.
That's pretty cool, man. You have good seats.
Yes, I actually do. I got the premiere section, so it's right where the suites are. So we're gonna be able to have a nice view of the ring. And it's weird going to a live wrestling event because you forget how much the announcers put in to make the show when you're on TV, and when you're there live, you don't have it. You have to you hear more of the way that the crowd reacts and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. I've been to live events since I was a little kid, seeing Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan. Then in the mid-'90s, I saw a little bit of, I went to Halloween Havoc in Vegas. Saw Goldberg, and I saw Hogan and Warrior back then when they fought for the second time when Hogan was Hollywood Hogan. And then been going a little bit here and there whenever they come in town. I instead of a long time ago, like wrestling, everybody you're kind of it's you're kind of your guilty pleasure or something like that. You don't want to admit it.
You messaged me the other day and you showed me the shirt. You're like, I'm going, and your wife's like, you're telling people that?
Yeah,
he's gonna make fun of you.
Yeah, I know. See, it's I don't care. I'm buying into it. I don't give a fuck. It's fun. It gets my mind off of whatever you're doing. And I love it. I am into it. So I'm into it. Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. So, and there's some other good matches. Brock Lesnar fighting Daniel Bryan. That'll be good.
You going to do a Periscope from the event?
Yes, of course.
Patio Joe live.
Patio Joe live. It'll be there from Staples Center. It'll be fun. Just like I did for the World Series game.
Nice.
Patio Joe shows up at all nice events in town.
Yeah, man. You got the good life over there in Cali. You're always going to some good event, good sporting event.
Nice. That's what I spend my money on. You know what I mean? I don't really buy clothes that much. You know what I mean? I'll go to games here and there. So, anyways, let's get into this slate. Let's start with quarterbacks, the position everybody likes to start off with. Let's start with quarterbacks. Paulie D, talk to me about the quarterbacks up top. Paulie's going to be talking about DK. I'm going to be talking about more FanDuel. So, Paulie, talk to me up top with quarterbacks. Any way you like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Eagles Saints game is gonna be attractive, and I think you got to get some exposure. It's got shootout written all over it. Question is, Breeze or Wentz, and I think Breeze has more potential for vultures with those running backs, whereas the running backs on Philly ain't too attractive. If the Eagles scored 35 points, it could be 5 touchdown passes from Wentz. He could run one in. Think, I favor Wentz right now, but they're both phenomenal plays up at the top. And then Andrew Luck at 5'9" against Tennessee is kind of like a sneaky play. He's still leading the league in attempts. And, I don't think the Colts, this is like a good, what do you call it, spot? Like a
bounce back?
No, not bounce back, but the opposite of a bounce back for the Titans. They're coming off a big win, and they let down. They let down,
Okay,
coming off that big win against New England, going into Indy on the road, and Indy just throws so much, the clock doesn't move, and those games just have been so high scoring lately. I mean, every game, Jacksonville, 29-26, Oakland, 42-28. The Colts let up 28 points to Oakland, the Jets, 34-42. You're just looking at most likely a back-and-forth game. So I think I could do some Andrew Luck as well that I think will be low-owned at the top. Those are 3 guys up top that I'm most interested in.
Yeah, for me, I'm looking at maybe about 7,500 and above on FanDuel. I like Wentz. I think Wentz is going to be probably the highest owned quarterback on FanDuel, maybe the cash game quarterback right now, just because you think he's $800 less than Breeze, and Breeze is $8,500. So obviously, for this game to go off, Wentz is going to have to keep up, and I could see him going to Jeffrey, Aguilar, a little bit of Tate. There's Jordan Matthews. There's the receivers. There's Ertz, obviously. Talk about that. So, and, up at the top, all the other guys like Cam, I'm not really into. I think he's too much, and he's got a little shoulder problem. I'm not sure. Also, we're not sure about the Detroit defense right now. If Slay is out, I know he's limited, and he's practiced the last few days. So, Matt Ryan, I'm not into. Phillip Rivers, I think it's another letdown spot for the Chargers. Nobody's going to go to Ben on the road. Jacksonville, and I wouldn't either. I don't really think he's going. And that's why, you got Andrew Luck, at home in the Dome against Tennessee, coming off a game where, they look great, but that was a Belichick disciple stifling Belichick. So, which the Lions did. So, I'm totally with you on that.
Titans are first in fantasy points allowed to running backs. They're pretty stout against the run.
So
more passing.
So I'm pretty much with you on that. I don't think that there's really much up top that I really like except for Wentz or Luck. Everybody else is just I'm not really into. I'll let him play. I guess you could play Breeze. Obviously, we do know he could throw for 5 touchdown passes, but he could also have Taysom Hill running one, Kamara running one,
the vulture,
Ingram running one, and if he's not passing those touchdowns to Ingram or Kamara, it could be a long day. That being said, Paulie, let's just finish off the quarterbacks because to me, I don't really feel like on FanDuel there's a mid-range or whatever. We'll just go from whatever.
Sure.
Quarterback and offense.
I mean, I really think I'm going to be paying up for those 3 guys, but down in Value Town, Marcus Mariota, again, that same game of the Colts, we got rushing upside. He's 5'5". That kind of savings could be beneficial, although I don't think it's enough discount off of those guys up top on DraftKings to really do that. If we get any clarity on the Baltimore situation, Lamar Jackson, Robert Griffin III at 4.7, both with rushing upside, especially Lamar Jackson against a terrible defense in the Bengals, I could possibly look at that. But that's really it. I'm not going to do the Eli Manning thing. Dak, but they got offensive line issues, but now he does have Amari Cooper, and They could be trailing. Maybe that's something worth looking at. But really, there's just not enough savings. Like the high end quarterbacks are cheap. Like Carson Wentz is 6,300. Dak Prescott's 52. Like I'm gonna find the 1,100 to get up there. So I don't really think anyone besides Mariota down here, or maybe Fitzpatrick against the Giants, are worth mentioning. But it's a pay up week at quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah, you got guys on FanDuel down below, kind of the guys that you mentioned. 6,700 for Eli. I said I would never play him in cash. I learned that lesson, I think, my first year playing DFS. But what you have here with Eli is everybody's going to like OBJ. Everybody's going to like Shepard. People are saying Ingram's a great play this week. And Barkley is always going to catch 10 balls. So if you like all this, somebody's got to be throwing to him. So, I mean, Eli is definitely an option for me. People are going to be looking at. Everything else, obviously, guys, I'm saving some guys for our highly, highly popular segment, Price is Right. So I'm not going to show off everybody right now. We'll talk about some other guys as the prices, in that segment. So I just want to let that know. So there could be some other guys that I want to ask him about. But right now, there's really not much else at quarterback. I'm with it. It's like, don't try and overthink the room. Don't try and think that a game's going to go higher than you think. What about, I know this. What about Fitzpatrick? Let me ask you about him.
Yeah, I said, that game's got a high total. I could see it, but I don't know. Those are just bad teams. I think you could find yourself in a sloppier game than anything else. Giants got nothing to play for. They're probably trying to lose. I don't know, although we did beat the 49ers last week. It's just, I don't think they got the firepower to contest with the Breeze and Wentz's and Lucks of the slate, so I'm not really interested. If I'm going to pay down, I'm going to look for some rushing upside.
All right. Let's close the door on the quarterback, and let's move to running back. Paulie D, this is where I think it's going to be the hardest to figure out. There are so many running backs that we like this week.
Sure.
Talk to me. What do you like up top? Who stands out?
If Keenan Allen gets ruled out, I think Melvin Gordon is definitely going to be attractive. Denver's run defense has been very poor, plus he'll probably become their highest targeted receiver in that game, especially if you think that Chargers are going to let down and keep Denver in this game. Because last week, Melvin Gordon was on his way to Smashville, and then, the game just got so out of hand, they didn't need him the whole fourth quarter. So if it's a competitive game and there's no Keenan Allen, I could be interested there. And I don't think most people are going to go all the way up because we just got so many other names. But Alvin Kamara, the Philadelphia run defense is stout. The Saints are going to have to pass. And, between Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, that's 75% of their pass game right there. And, when a guy like that can get you some rushing touchdowns and some receiving touchdowns, he could potentially get you 100 yards receiving and rushing. You just got to play this guy. David Johnson finally went off last week. He's in another nut spot. I don't think Arizona's good enough to run away from Oakland. So maybe the DJ of old is back in our lives. I think that's interesting. And then the last guy I will talk about in the mid to upper tier is Leonard Fournette. Pittsburgh run D has been decent, but, we saw the workload that Fournette got. I think they make a nice pairing with the D. And, it's in Jacksonville. They could potentially get in the lead and try to just bury the clock. But, we saw his first game healthy, got 5 targets, caught all of them, got a receiving and a rushing touchdown at 6'9". That's pretty attractive, in my opinion, too.
Yeah, that Fournette thing is, I'm trying to get his stats that he had. We all remember last year, he had 3 TDs against Steelers in the AFC title game. And then earlier in the year, he ran for, I think it was almost 200 yards against them in Pittsburgh. And you got to think that this is like Jacksonville's last hope. I mean, they're 3-6?
I'm looking it up.
You know, like this is their season right now. This is like they believe that they can beat Pittsburgh. They believe that, last few times they have taken Pittsburgh, that how tough they are, and they punched them in the mouth. They beat them twice in Pittsburgh. So I feel like this is like a Fournette game. We're just going to try and run it up their throat again. And the only reason why I wouldn't play Fournette in almost every 100 in my lineups is that we learned early in the year, I think it was week 2 against the Giants. Week 1. It was whatever. He pulls his hamstring, and that kills our week 1. You know what I mean? So I like Fournette. I really do, and I might have him on one of my teams, but I can't play him in cash with any, bit of degree of safety because he's one little,
Yeah, it's just not worth the risk as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many other options on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, on FanDuel, you pay $300 more and you have DJ.
Yeah.
And I feel like DJ is almost the lock this week in cash. The only reason why I would say him over Zeke is because he's at home, and Zeke we have Tyron Smith and Zach Martin are both questionable that probably will not play. If even one or both of them don't play, Zeke, you have got to fade Zeke. I'm going to do that.
And then you got Amari Cooper there. It's like another weapon where it was like just Zeke, like now they're, you're expecting they'll probably be trailing. It doesn't like set up well for him to get 25 carries unless they find a way to get the lead. Yeah,
and you can also see Zeke though catching a couple more balls out of the backfield because Atlanta is obviously good. But we also have word that Deion Jones might be back this week too for Atlanta. He's been practicing. Up top, there's nothing wrong with Kamara. Everybody knows Kamara is my favorite player in the NFL. I love the guy. You can play him every week. I think you can fade him this week, though. I don't think you need him in your lineup if you're playing. Obviously, if you're playing the game stack, you can have him in that. But I don't think you need to have him like, the last few weeks. Barkley, the same thing. I like Gordon, like you said, of all those 3. And then McCaffrey might be, totally overlooked of anybody.
The Lions are terrible against the run, so sure. There's a lot of options up there for sure.
So, and then nobody's even saying any word about James Conner either. And that's because he's in the concussion protocol and he's on the road. But that game might just be, they both might just try and run. I don't know. You never know. So, Midtown to Value Town, what you got? I mean, I don't think that there's much Midtown. I think that there's a few value plays, and then that's it. Like, nothing has really opened up yet, like it normally does. Maybe Friday or Saturday night when somebody gets ruled out.
I mean, we got Deion Lewis, 4,800 on DK. He's going to be fairly chalky. I think that's cash game viable and just an awesome, awesome option on the slate against the Colts. We got Mark Ingram. If you're not going to play Kamara, then I think you have to come down and play Ingram at 4-7. Like, the Saints want to run. Whether they can or not against the Eagles, I don't know, but they're projected for 33 points. Like, who's going to score all those points? Like, one of those 2 running backs is going to get in the box 2-3 times, I would assume. Or one of them gets 2, one gets 1. So if you're not going to play Kamara, then go take that value play in Mark Ingram at 4-7. And I mean, there's a bunch down here that we could discuss, but I'm not going to actually say a guy's name, but the Baltimore situation, if we get RG3 quarterbacking Baltimore at home, they'll probably rely on the run and their defense. So if you want to grab Alex Collins, more of a FanDuel play, in my opinion, or if we get word that one of these other guys is They just got Ty Montgomery. They got Jaborius Allen. You know, we need some clarity on carries, but I think that's a situation to monitor at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dion Lewis for me, I feel like I'm going back to that well. I was all in on him last week, and he didn't kill me, but he wasn't great either. Mm-hmm. But he got 21 touches, and Indianapolis just gives up catches out of the backfield, and I feel like he's the play, and we feel like this game's going to shoot out. He's going to be used more. Another guy I will speculate is we've talked about. I think we talked about it started earlier that Joe Mixon, his knee is acting up, and we've heard reports that he might be out a few weeks. He was very limited in practice. He doesn't play. Gio Bernard is almost a lock too, because who else? I know
he's going to get all the work. They got no one else. He's 4-2 on DraftKings. If Mixon gets ruled out, he'll become very chalky.
Yeah, he's 5-8 on FanDuel, so I really, really like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for running back. I think we got the guys up top. Pick one of those guys with Dion Lewis. Right now, that's what I think.
Yep.
Wide receiver, Paulie D, up top.
Michael Thomas, just there's no way I don't have a lot, possibly all. He might be my core play all in, super talented. This matchup just totally funnels to him. Philadelphia run D is very stout. This game's supposed to have a lot of scoring. He's essentially the only receiver that's going to get double-digit targets in that offense ever outside of Kamara. And, he seems to be hot right now. And the Eagles, they've been getting burnt by good receivers for a long time. So that's definitely interesting. There's so much here, but Odell against Tampa scored 2 touchdowns last week against San Francisco. Tampa Bay is one of the worst defenses out there. They're terrible against the slot. Odell will go into the slot about 26% or so of the time. Giants just move him around to get him the ball. That's extremely attractive as well. And a little bit lower, I can get behind Emmanuel Sanders, 6,200 against the Chargers. I know they have good secondary, but the volume this guy's going to get now that DT's out, we're expecting them to be trailing. Guy gets handoffs. He's just really talented. I can get behind that. And one more, T.Y. Hilton. Pair him up with Luck on the turf at home against Tennessee. Josh Gordon got the targets. Should have had a much better game, but Tom Brady really didn't get him the ball that well. I think Luck finds T.Y., and this is one of those T.Y. blow-up spots at 6,100 on DraftKings. That's very attractive, too.
Yeah, I think on FanDuel, you look at the guys up top, guys above 8,000, you have 6 guys. One of them's hurt, AJ Green, so you take him out. You have 5 guys. Everybody's going to either play Michael Thomas or Odell. Julio, nobody's going to go to him. Dallas does a pretty good job. They do.
Yeah, they have one of the better cover corners, actually, this year. Can't think of his name, but kind of out of nowhere, a new cornerback that's been very good.
I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to get his targets. It doesn't matter. I just think that Norman's going to be on him, slow him down. Antonio Brown is going to get either Bouye or Jalen Ramsey. So, that leaves basically Thomas or Odell. Odell can outscore Thomas, though, very easily, though, on Sunday. I think, just because, you've seen what he can do.
Yeah, he's a freak.
I think that if Mike Evans is also a good play if you're going to do that stack of that game. Jonas Jenkins is pretty lazy.
He's been horrible this year.
Yeah.
He went from being one of the better cover corners to just a disgrace. I think he's 7th on the bottom ranked in coverage this year. Horrible.
We've got a question in the chat. I don't know if this is for seasonal or if this is just for DFS. Would you rather start Juju or Galladay? I'd rather start Juju, but
yeah,
I'd always take Juju. But that
I kind of like Galladay against Carolina on the turf.
Bradbury
Potentially trailing versus, a really solid secondary in Jacksonville. But they're both pretty good plays. I mean, in DFS, it comes down to the price. In seasonal, I guess if you have one of those quarterbacks that would make the decision easy, you'd always take that correlation upside. Other than that, like, if Connor is ruled out, I think I'd lean Juju. If Connor plays, I think I'd lean Galladay.
Yeah, I think that if for me, I like Galladay. Just we'll see. Me, I don't know. We'll see. I think that who are the receivers? They have Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones could be out. If he's out, I mean, there's no need because he got hurt last week. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
He got hurt. He twisted his knee. Somebody in the chat, I don't know if he's a.
So then they got nobody else.
Yeah. They got somebody in the chat, I don't know if he's a member or not. His name is Yo Elvis Intenza, said he just won 10K. I don't know if you are a member of the nation. If you are, congrats. If not, congrats anyways. Welcome. Let's see here. Receivers that I like. Other receivers. You want to go down below? Or I'm with you all, T.Y. Hilton. I think Cooper he's been getting his last two games. He got everybody knows. I hate him, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got 8 targets and 10 targets. His 2 games with Dallas. So I gotta say he has a good matchup. So problem is that Dallas just doesn't throw that much. So
well, they're gonna be trailing. They've been throwing to him a lot. I think that's a very good play. And I'll mention Nelson Aguilar, 4,100 in that Saints game. That's a nice value piece, a way to get exposure there. I mean, if your boy on the Chargers gets ruled out, then, one of those Williams guys becomes definitely viable. There's options down there, but I'm definitely more excited about some of the spend ups. But we're going to need at least one value play down here.
Yeah, I'm. For me, I'm looking at a guy like Larry Fitzgerald. It seems to me like he just went back to last year's role. He got 12 targets 2 weeks ago, 10 targets last week in a tough matchup in KC. Now he's coming back home against the Raiders, who have given up. I like also his counterpart, Christian Kirk. He has a good matchup as a GPP flyer. It's down to 5,100. I think he's not a bad option, but Fitz to me is back to his cash game role, especially if he gets in the end zone. It really, really pays dividends at 5,900. I like that. You see if Jameson Crowder is out again. If he is, Maurice Harris, again, he's going to get most of the targets. It's all about, opportunity. We also think I also think Cole Beasley could be somebody you could look at too, because he's going to be in the slot a lot against Atlanta, who's terrible against the slot. Just somebody to look at right now when you're throwing in your pool. Seth Roberts. I hate to say it. Seth Roberts, 5,100. Jordy might be out. Brandon LaFell is going to get the Patrick Peterson treatment. So that's going to leave Seth Roberts and Jared Cook for the passes.
Is it Martavis Bryant week again?
I don't know. Somebody else can play him. So, yeah, that's the thing down below. I think that there is some guys that I think are going to open up. Aguilar is going to be the guy in the slot. I'm telling you, it's not going to be Tate. So Aguilar is going to be the one getting balls against P.J. Williams on Sunday.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, though. Tate is also in that scenario now. Also, Deshaun Jackson has made a living just torching the Giants, especially in Giant Stadium. Wouldn't be shocked to see Fitz hook up with him for a couple deep balls and him bust at 5K. So I'm cool with that as well. But I think we can close the door on receiver.
Yeah. All right, let's move to tight end. Obviously, guys, to me, it's like cash game. Just Zach Ertz. Just don't figure it out somewhere else on your cash games. There's nobody else. 7,600. He's not even 8K like Kelsey was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he had such a low first half last week, and then his second half literally won matchups for people because he just absolutely just destroyed. He had 14 receptions and 145 yards and 2 touchdowns, and most of that came in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's the most safest option on the board on Sunday. There's a couple other tight ends I think that you can look at. Evan Ingram has got a good matchup. I like Jack Doyle instead of over Eric Ebron. We've seen tight ends tear up the Titans through the air. Ertz had a good game against them earlier in the season. Let's see. What did he hit?
Evan Ingram against Tampa Bay. Tight ends have just been absolutely destroying Tampa Bay. It's a decent pivot off of Odell if you don't have Odell. We could see Evan Ingram, who's been a little nicked up, but he's back and healthy now. And, tight ends against Tampa Bay, it's almost like you just got to have a little bit each week because they've given up by far the most GPP winning scores to that position than any other team this year.
Yeah. All right.
I'm with you. I'm going to try my hardest to get Ertz. If not, we'll go all the way down to the value guys like Ingram or Doyle or, something else.
All right. Let's move on to defense now. Defense, Paulie D. To me, I feel like the defenses that stand out are the Ravens and the Cardinals. What do you got?
Definitely the Ravens. What's their price here on DK? Like I've been saying the last week or so, I think it's time to start thinking about paying up at defense a little bit. Like we saw the Bears just destroy the Bills as a really expensive D, and prior to that, we haven't needed to pay up. But now, as these situations just become that much more nutted, a phenomenal spot against rookie quarterbacks, you might be able to look at Cincinnati's defense, as bad as they are, against an RG3 or a Lamar Jackson. Very cheap. Could be a pick six. Could be some fumbles to the house. Not my favorite play, but that's a cheap one you could look at. And then Jacksonville's D is $2,200. I did not think we would see that this year. That is probably too cheap for Ben Roethlisberger on the road. The pass rush that they can get, their floor is relatively high, just on sacks and, assume one interception and one fumble recovery, especially if no James Conner and we got another rookie running back. So I could get behind Jacksonville, especially if you want to pair it up with Fournette. And then lastly, maybe we look at the Falcons against the Cowboys. If they have 2 offensive linemen out, those are situations I really like to attack as well. And they are 2,400. So we got those value options, or you go all the way up to, a Chargers at home or the Ravens, like you said.
Yeah. For me, like I said, defense, the Ravens. I like the Cardinals too. I just think that their defensive line is just going to dominate the Raiders' offensive line on Sunday, and just a lot of sacks. I could see a pick six. I think Cardinals and the Ravens are like the two catch games. Also, what you brought up earlier, Panthers. I know that they got raped last week, but they're facing a terrible Lions. So that's something to look at too as a pivot.
I think they've allowed 19 sacks in the last 2 weeks. That's got to be some sort of record. And
that's just terrible. That's David Carr territory.
Went on the Texans.
He was with the Texans. It was really, really bad. All right. All righty. Let's see here. All right, so that's right, Wise Take Nation. It's the time you all have been waiting for. You missed it last week. Price is Right with Paulie D, where I go over some prices on FanDuel that Paulie has no idea what I'm about to say.
I really don't.
And he's going to say, hey, I like that price.
Oh, you going?
I don't like that price.
You going on FanDuel?
I'm going on FanDuel.
All right, let me open up the FanDs.
All right.
All right, I'm there.
All righty. At quarterback, at 6,500, Josh Rosen.
So I don't mind that price on Josh Rosen. It's more about what's next to him, and there's nothing really that attractive down there. Like Mariota is 600 more, so I think that price is right.
Nice.
Oakland. You can do that. You can do that for sure.
This is the song from one of the game shows. We keep going up. The cliffhanger one. All right. Next one is at running back, Alex Collins at 6,000.
Alex Collins at 6,000 is probably going to be the price is wrong here because Deion Lewis is 100 cheaper. And Gio Bernard is 200 cheaper. So.
All right, so here's my thing with Alex Collins. I actually like is I like him as a GPP pivot off of Deion Lewis just because they're going to run the ball so much either without Lamar Jackson or Lamar or RG3.
Whoever. Yeah. Whoever,
okay. Here's the only reason why I don't like Alex Collins for catches because if he fumbles the ball, he's out of the game. Yeah. Harbaugh will fumble.
If it's Lamar Jackson, I'm less interested because Lamar Jackson has like a very high probability of vulturing, whereas if it's RG3, like they might not throw a pass the whole game and just run with their running backs.
All right, at receiver 6,300 in the slot, Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, that price is wrong. If you want to play a giant receiver, go all the way up to Odell or grab the tight end Ingram against Tampa. You got Kenny Galladay. You got Corey Davis coming off a monster game is like the only receiver there. Fitzgerald. There's just too much talent around here. You just can't go to Shepard.
All right. He's going to be popular. I'm telling you. He's going to be very shocking. He is going to be like, I'm telling you, that's what I'm hearing about. He's going to be jockey. I'm telling you, I'm not saying I'm going to play him. I'm just saying that's what I'm hearing. Okay, tight end, 5,500. Jared Cook.
I don't even care what the price. That's wrong. You can't play anyone on the Raiders offense right now. It's just,
All right.
They put up like 9 points in the last 2 weeks against
Chargers.
The 49ers, and then the Chargers are good, but
Joey Bosa might be coming back this week.
Yeah. Nope. No thanks.
All right, and then finally at defense, we're going all the way down, Paulie D. They're playing at home. They're in the dome. They're gonna get to Mr. Wentz. They're gonna get some sacks. They're gonna get some interceptions. The Saints at 3,300.
No. Wentz is a stud. He's going to show up at this game. We played the Saints last week. It was great. You got the Bengals against RG3 or rookie or, Falcons 3,500 with a bad offensive line. Sorry. Price is wrong on the Saints.
Wrong. All right, so the price is only right for Josh Rosen, basically for you, is what you like this week. I think basically, to me, I feel like though, like the player pool, at least at quarterback, isn't that big. At running back, you're going to have the guys up top, and you're going to have with Dion Lewis. We talked about Collins, maybe Gio if Mixon is out.
Mm-hmm.
Receivers, you're going to mix and match Thomas or Beckham with the guys in the middle. Tight end, he's going to go with Ertz.
What's like the word on Allen right now? Like
Keenan Allen?
Yeah, like is he closer to probable or closer to doubtful?
It's hip finger was added to the Chargers week 11 for a walk in limited practice Thursday. There's nothing to suggest Allen's availability was in danger, but given it's a midweek addition, you never know. It's fine.
Yeah, probably closer to probable sounds like. All right.
But his matchup is tougher though anyway.
Yeah.
Against Chris Harris and
sure.
So I like Gordon though this week. I mean, obviously, how can you not?
Yeah.
He's gonna get the ball.
Especially if you think that the Denver hangs around. You know, like last week you saw when they blow out a team, they're gonna take care of their stud. But if it's a close game, they need to continue to win. He could score 3 to 4 touchdowns.
But I've noticed also too, less and less Eckler has been playing. And he used to get more and more drives, not as much. It's pretty much all Gordon, especially if he's healthy. So, All right, Paulie D, let's go to top threes, then we're going to get out of here.
All right. Before you do that, I got a ownership projection on Sterling Shepard on FanDuel at 5%.
All right. That's good. What do I know? All right. Let's go with quarterbacks, top three.
Quarterbacks, top two. Give me Carson Wentz and give me Luck.
You have a third?
Top third?
Three? Yeah.
Sure. I thought you said top two. Drew Brees.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to go with the three. I can't think of anybody else. Wentz, Luck, and Brees. It's not really, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel this week, guys. I really don't. Running back.
Kamara, Dion Lewis, and David Johnson.
For me, I got Kamara. I'm going to go David Johnson and Leonard Fournette. But I love Dion Lewis too. I just think if Fournette stays healthy, he could be the highest running back on the slate. You know what I mean? He could get the most. You know what I mean? He has that upside, especially at 7,600 though too. The price $1,300 difference from like Kamara or Barkley or Gordon.
Well, you play 3 running backs now, so you could play Lewis, you could play Fournette, and Kamara, right?
Gordon. Wide receiver.
Michael Thomas for sure. As we were kind of talking, I think Amari Cooper is becoming more and more interesting to me, and T.Y. Hilton.
For me, is Michael Thomas, Odell Beckham, and third is Fitzgerald.
All right.
Tight end.
Give me some Ertz. Give me some Ingram, and give me. I'll take Austin Hooper, who's just had like 3 out of 4 really good weeks, high targets.
Nice. Give me Ertz, give me Ingram, and give me Jack Doyle.
Doyle rules.
Defense.
Defense, give me the Ravens. Give me. We got to look at Carolina against a team that's given up that many sacks in the last 2 weeks. And, I'm going to take a flyer here and grab me some Cincinnati against, especially if it's RG3. I think that's like pick 6, like on layaway. Just, you got 6 points coming. Can you get any more?
For me, it is Baltimore, it is Arizona, and it is Atlanta.
Cool with that.
I think it'd be We have a Price is Right from a Wise Take regular, D. Millie, on FanDuel for receiver. Is the price right on Traquan Smith?
Traquan, sure. I mean, it's 4.9, and you're gonna need some value if you're trying to get like Melvin Gordon and Kamara, and he will probably be one of the lesser owned guys. And this guy's a home run hitter, similar to Aguilar in that Eagles offense last year. Like, I like the talent. Definitely worth a shot, especially if you're looking for triple pay up at running back. You need some receiver value. I can do that for sure.
Would you play him with Michael Thomas in the stack?
No. That's too much in my opinion. Like, now you need, Breeze to throw 4 touchdowns or 3, and all of them have to go to those 2 guys, and especially on FanDuel where you're not getting the full PPR. I don't think you're maximizing upside there.
If you were stacking that game on FanDuel, what would you do? Would you do Kamara, Thomas, Ertz, Aguilar with Wentz?
I mean, I have got to look into this more, what Tate's role is, because, I mean, he's way better than Aguilar. So I got to see what he did last week. Then I would say Ertz, Kamara, Thomas, I would try to get. That might be wishful thinking, but, that's where your pay downs at Deion Lewis and quarterback come into play. Defense, punt your defense so you can get that. I mean, we saw it, I don't know, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Whoever the Saints played in the Rams, and all those studs went off in that game. So, if the game's going to go that high, you can try to get them all into one lineup, and it could definitely pay dividends.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's gonna do it for the Week 11 Two Guidos. We really appreciate you joining us here. Be sure to join us. If you're a Wise Take member, join the nation and buy a day pass. Get in for basketball. We are crushing at basketball. Obviously, we have MMA, and we have at 8:30 p.m. Eastern or 8 o'clock Eastern on Saturday, we have the Wise stream for Week 11 featuring Paulie D and Cash and DFS. So, we definitely got a lot of shows. We have a lot of articles coming out. My article comes out Friday night, Saturday morning. We have articles from Paulie D that comes out Saturday night. Then we got more from CK. So join the nation. We got a lot of people going on. And we appreciate you joining us. Anything else to say, Paulie?
No, man. Catch us Saturday. Wide stream. Jump in. Check us out for NBA. Good things are happening. We got apparel. I'm not wearing the shirt today, but support the nation. Grab a T-shirt.
That's right. All right. So for Paulie D, follow my Twitter at Paulie D. I am Patio Joe. Follow me on Twitter, Patio Joe Rep. And for our boy CK in the back, as he always says.
Yeah.